Hello students, this video is of class 7 science chapter 1 nutrition in plants. In this video we are going to learn about the procedures how plants take their nutrition. So let's get started with our video. As we know that food is the important and the basic thing for life. There are major components of food such as carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins and minerals. These components are important because they are necessary for all living beings. All plants and animals require food for their growth and getting energy. So this process of taking food and utilizing it to obtain energy for growth and development is known as nutrition, or you can say the process of taking nutrients and utilizing these nutrients to obtain energy for growth and development is known as nutrition. Plants are capable of making their food by themselves. On the other hand, animals cannot do this. So we can say that animals depend directly and indirectly on the plants. That's why plants are said as the producers. Okay, so we can say that organisms or plants need food and nutrients to obtain energy, obtain materials for the growth and obtain materials to repair or damage body parts, therefore to carry out life processes. Life processes means the processes which are necessary to carry out their life. Okay, so in this process there are two modes of nutrition, and in this chapter we are talking about the plants. So in this there are two modes of nutrition in plants, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic is made up of two words, auto and trophos. Auto means self and trophos means nourishments. Plants undergo this type of nutrition, that's why they are known as the autotrophs, because they are capable of making their food by themselves. So this modes of nutrition in which the plants they can make their food by themselves in the presence of energy, sunlight energy, carbon dioxide and water is known as autotrophic nutrition. This autotrophic nutrition is found in green plants. Now, heterotrophic nutrition. This word heterotrophic is also the combination of two words, heteros and trophos. Heteros means others and trophos means nourishment. So we can say that if an organism depend on other for its nutrition or nourishment is called heterotrophs, and the mode of nutrition under which those organisms depends on other for their nutrition and nourishment is known as heterotrophic modes of nutrition. Okay, so there are different types of heterotrophic nutritions in plants. They are as parasitic modes of nutrition, insectivorous modes of nutrition, saprophytic modes of nutrition and symbiotic modes of nutrition. So further we are going to study it one by one. So let's get started. First is parasitic plants. These plants undergo parasitic modes of nutrition. What are these plants about? These plants are those which do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food. For this reason, they get their food from other plants called host. Means that on which plants they live, they are said as the host and they are dependent on them for their nourishment. But in parasites, there are two types of parasites. There are total parasites and partial parasites. Total parasites means which are totally dependent on their host for their nourishment or nutrition. And partial parasites means that they are partially dependent on their host for their nutrition and nourishment. Okay. So there are two types of parasite. For example, this is Cuscuta, which can say in other name amarbel. Okay. Next type of modes of nutrition is insectivorous modes of nutrition, which is carried out by insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants are those which feeds on insects. For example, pitcher plant. The leaf of the pitcher plant is modified into a pitcher. The end of the pitcher has a lid which can open and close. They are so attractive that insects are attracted towards them, and when they move inside this pitcher, the lid closes. The insect is then digested by the digestive juices inside the pitcher, and in this way this insectivorous plants get their nutritions. Okay, next is saprotrophic modes of nutrition, which is carried out by saprotrophs. Saprotrophs are those which undergo saprotrophic modes of nutrition. Okay, so these are those plants which do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food. They get their food from dead and decaying organic matter, for example mushroom, bread mold. Okay, what they do, they produce their digestive juices on the dead and decaying organic matter, and then they convert this into a solution and then absorb the nutrients from the solution. Okay. Or you can say that saprotrophs are those organisms which obtain their nutrition from the others in the form of a solution. Okay, next mode of nutrition is symbiotic modes of nutrition, or you can say symbiotic relationship, or you can say mutualistic modes of nutrition, because in this both the plants are mutually benefiting each other. For example, some plants live together and share shelter and nutrients with each other. For example, lichen. Lichen is a combination of alga and fungus together, which live together, and the fungus provides shelter, water and minerals to the alga, and the alga in return provides food to the fungus, which is prepared by photosynthesis. Okay, so this is all about the heterotrophic modes of nutrition in. Now we have learned about the heterotrophic modes of nutrition in plants. Now the question arises that how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Plants absorb nutrients from the soil, so the nutrients in the soil decreases. So farmers add manures and fertilizers to the soil to increase the nutrients in the soil. There is a bacterium called rhizobium which lives in the roots of leguminous plants like grams, peas, beans, etc. They have the capability of converting atmospheric nitrogen from the air into soluble form in the soil and makes the soil rich in nitrogen. In return, the plant provides food and shelter to the bacteria. Plants cannot absorb atmospheric nitrogen from the air. That's why this bacterium helps them to absorb this nitrogen from the soil. Okay, so this is an example of symbiotic relationship. What the bacterium do, they provide nitrogen to the plants, and in return the plants provide food and shelter to the bacterium. So it is an example of symbiotic relationship. Now moving to the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process of making of food by green plants in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Photosynthesis is the combination of two words, photo and synthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means to make. The process of food making in green plants, whereas green plants make their food themselves. Green plants make food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So we can say that carbon dioxide and water are the raw materials which are required for the process of photosynthesis, and the necessary conditions are sunlight and chlorophyll. Hence, for taking place of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, water and sunlight must be reached at the green leaves in addition to presence of chlorophyll. Now, how do the plants obtain carbon dioxide? They obtain carbon dioxide from a tiny pore called stomata, which is located in the lower surface of the leaves. Okay, they are located in the lower surface of the leaves. They only these stomata absorb carbon dioxide from air. Now, how do the plants obtain water? Water is absorbed from the roots through a specialized tissues called xylem. It is a type of plant tissue, okay, which whose capability or whose work is only to transport water from the roots to the photosynthetic area of the plants. Okay. Next, what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green pigment which is found in green leaves. Chlorophyll has the capability, or it has the important property of absorbing sunlight and gives energy. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight, and in that after that water and carbon dioxide convert them into carbohydrate and oxygen. Carbohydrate is used as food and oxygen is emitted out to atmosphere. So this whole process of making food by plants is called photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis is very important because if in this photosynthesis important gas named oxygen is emitted out, which is necessary for all living beings. And it is also very important because plants are set as the producers, and they are capable of making their food by this process only. If photosynthesis doesn't occur, plants will not be there and whole biotic system will get destroyed. Okay. The reaction in the process can be written as carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It gives carbohydrate and oxygen. Carbohydrate, which is produced in the process of photosynthesis, is ultimately converted into starch and which is stored into the leaves. From leaves, it is transported to the parts of the plant. Starch, it is a type of carbohydrates. The oxygen so produced is released to the atmosphere through the same stomata from which the carbon dioxide is absorbed. So we can say that stomata has two functions, that it absorbs carbon dioxide for carrying out photosynthesis process, and after the completion of the photosynthesis process it releases oxygen into the atmosphere. Okay. Sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. As we know, the sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living. Our Earth is the only unique planet where photosynthesis takes place. In the absence of photosynthesis, life would not be possible on Earth. So, after learning photosynthesis, we can say that these are the necessary conditions for photosynthesis: presence of sunlight, presence of chlorophyll, presence of water, and presence of carbon dioxide. Synthesis of food, synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. Yes, plants also make other foods other than carbohydrates, such as proteins and fats. Okay, proteins, which are nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen. As we learned in the earlier section, that Rhizobium bacteria absorbs atmospheric nitrogen from the air and provide it to the soil, from which the plants absorb it in the water soluble form. And how does they get this nitrogen? And they make proteins. Okay, in the protein, though proteins are made with the help of a bacterium called Rhizobium bacterium. Sometimes farmers and nitrogenous fertilizers, farmers also add nitrogenous fertilizers to their field to fulfill the need of nitrogen. In this way also plants get fulfillment of nitrogen along with other nutrients. After the fulfillment of all nutrients, plants synthesize proteins and fats. Okay, so this is a small diagram about the stomatal opening, that how the carbon dioxide is absorbed and oxygen is released out. So this is all about the chapter. I hope you are able to understand it. Please go over through it and learn. Keep studying. And do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that next video ki notification you should get it. Okay, till then keep studying.